Hey, y'all. Welcome back for another
More
episode
to the
of
story.
More. God, we did this once already, and he played fair, and now
I'm to hear more.
no, he's he's not. Stop! Don't shit.
Welcome back to More to the story. I'm to
More
hear
to the-
more.
I'm fair and
This
more.
is Fairmore. I won.
Why did you do that? You were doing so good. I wish you could have kept the first one. Sincere, cut that. Use the first one.
Nah, we can use that one. That's a great take.
Anyway, so jumping in a little bit. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So your fans, I'm one of your fans. We've heard you talk about your fear of failure.
Uh-huh.
But have you ever experienced a feeling of guilt or embarrassment by your success?
Yes. Especially during quarantine.
Really?
It was like the embarrassment of success and somewhat survivor's remorse.
Guilt. Yeah.
Survivor's guilt, rather.
Yeah. No, remorse is right too. Either way.
Yeah, that hit me hard because I know a lot of people that actually did really well during the quarantine, but I know a lot of people and businesses that did not do as well.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to come out of that thriving and just to have the success with the shows and the YouTube and everything like that, it was a little bit of that. So, I wasn't as vocal with some of the wins as I may have been had the overall situation been different.
Right.
Because, it's kind of like I didn't want to rub it in anybody's faces that wasn't doing well.
Exactly. I totally get that. So, I told you that when we got my car, like I didn't say anything for weeks.
Mhm.
And if it came up in conversation, then it was, oh, why didn't you tell me? And it's like, because I didn't,
Yeah.
But so I just wanted to, I had my sister when she was like, bitch, you could have told me, like, that's silly. I'm excited for you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I just didn't want to
Yeah.
seem all braggy or whatever. But that just made me wonder about, how broad that is, where that comes from.
Mhm.
And, so
Yeah.
I looked more into it. What were you about to say?
I was about to say that
Mhm.
if we don't get forced back inside and we have a full year of outside, I'm stunting on you niggas. You hear me? I'm stunting on you niggas. I'm driving an old school with no shirt. I'm driving a Mustang with no pants. I'm in this bitch Winnie the Pooh style or Bam Bam style.
How is you driving your car with no pants stunting on somebody else?
Because I'm going to be going live too. I'm going to go live at the same time.
So, but what?
Exactly. Exactly. Don't think too much about it. Don't think too much, but just accept that that's what's going to happen.
Don't think about it too much. Yeah. So I did learn that, of course, we are not what.
It's so stupid, but I was thinking like, I'm gonna be an Atlanta nigga. Like, when I stunt, I'm like, you know what the fuck it is, boy? I'm out here stunting on this fuck nigga, boy, for the one time, boy. Hey, them niggas come around that motherfucker, bust that motherfucking head, boy. I swear to God,
Oh
boy.
my God.
Turn to Atlanta nigga so hard.
Oh my God. If you're from Atlanta, are you offended by that? What just happened?
Shit,
In all
shout-
realness, though, you kind of sound like
Shit, shout-
Ronnie Jordan just did.
Yeah, that's my go-to. Whenever I think about Atlanta nigga, I think about Ronnie Jordan because that nigga, shit. What did he say? Somebody compliment you and insult you at the same time. Like, damn, you dressed for a little fat ass nigga. Or he's like, now you a little funny little fat ass nigga, ain't you though? Shout out to Ronnie Jordan, man. One of the funniest motherfuckers doing it out there,
Let's
man.
stay F. Yeah. So I looked up, just embarrassed by success,
Mm-hmm.
and just wanted to learn more about that feeling, or that emotion and where it comes from, and all those things. And
First thing you saw was an antonym for it, and it was like a picture of Kanye West.
why? I forgot what an antonym was for a second, and then it hit me. Oh, the opposite. Yes. Got it.
This nigga made a song called I Am a God.
Was that?
That was the beat.
But I learned that the feeling of embarrassment could also hold you back from success.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because if you're easily embarrassed, that means you're slow to do things that set you apart from the pack.
I don't know if that's true for everybody. I mean, in the sense of, I feel like that's a blanket statement for the people that get embarrassed by success. I don't think that my embarrassment came from the fear of doing new things or doing things that set me across.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying that embarrassment can both hinder it and can hinder your success and also be a resulting feeling from your success.
Okay.
So two totally different things.
Okay, gotcha.
And that one, I did not even consider playing a role in hindering your success. Just
Okay,
like
gotcha.
being, easily embarrassed. So we're kind of going to touch on both and just
With
where
their
that
consent, we're going to
come
touch
from.
on both with their consent. I just want to say that. Both topics. We're going to touch on the topics with their consent.
We're asking embarrassment for
Yes. I said what I said. I said what I said.
Who is he today?
I gotta be on 10 the whole time, because if the moment I slow down is the moment I'm gonna pass out. I've been ripping and running all day. I've been ripping and running all day. This is my fifth show I filmed today. So
Really?
yes,
Oh wow.
yeah, I gotta stay on 10. So I'm just gonna be jumping in.
Okay. Well,
Woo! Let's go.
calm down a little bit because I have been sleepy all day in Dragon and been in zombie mode. Hence the energy drink that I gave you a swallow of, and I should probably not let you have any more of. So, anyway, would you fucking be still? Why are you
Let's
bouncing
go.
in that chair like that? You so distracting.
Let's fucking go,
I need a
man.
partition right here. I can't look at you.
Driver, roll out the partition, please.
So anyway, if you are prone to embarrassment, then you may unconsciously be avoiding, like I said, or even fearing circumstances that might be necessary for your success. But once we started talking, I'm gonna take a step back. We started talking about the being embarrassed by your success, and that seems to come from your desire to not act like you're better than the people around you.
Make yourself small.
Yes. You make yourself, appear smaller, or just you don't want to come off all cocky
Braggadocious.
and assholish because you're doing well. When especially if you're coming from a place where the people around you aren't doing as well. So it's like.
I think it could be some of that, but I also could think also could be deeper than that. If you come from a place where it wasn't safe to brag, you know what I'm saying? Like growing up where I grew up, like I'm still conditioned to this day, even if I have speakers in my car, not to turn my radio down before I get to my block.
Okay.
Because if you come on your block beating, subbing, then you letting everybody know you got a system, which means that they're going to eventually break in your car because of that. And then also, like, I remember one time I told my sister's dad, who I grew up with for a couple of years, I think it was my GPA in high school I think it was high school or college. I think I told you this. I was like, yeah, man, I got a 3.9. He was like, okay. And he did kind of walk away. And I was like, you're not proud of me? He was like, Robert, when you start doing things in a certain nature and that becomes habit, we don't celebrate your normality. We celebrate, or question when things aren't normal.
Right.
So if you had come with a B average, then we would be having a different conversation.
Right.
And so it was like, I was proud of myself because I really put in the work to get
Yeah,
that
you should've
3.9.
been.
And he just like, not downplayed it, but he just simplified it to the point where it was like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. Like I wasn't a teen father. So.
Yeah. Very true. But
Not what we
Yes.
talk about.
but no, I get your point. Like it wasn't a safe space
Yeah.
for being proud of yourself, congratulating wins. So I get that.
Yeah.
So the touching back on again the just those around you, where they are in life, kind of molds your feelings about where you are, where your trajectory in life. Like it starts from a super young age. Like we learn that saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing like gets us
Popped. Or in trouble.
right, gets, us made fun of or gets us in trouble or whatever. And so we are so conditioned to stay with to conform, to stay within the ranks of
Mm-hmm.
those around us. And to succeed means to go above what those ranks are. And that's where the kind of the being ashamed or embarrassed by doing that, because
Mm-hmm.
you're doing something different. You're doing. So, um, give me a second. So people are slower to share their successes because of those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So just to something to do if this is something you're dealing with, because I it's just certain things and certain feels I've had about sharing my story, just not wanting to come off a certain way. But y'all know, I always feel like, our our story, we should share our stories. You're
Mm-hmm.
never alone in your story. Like,
Right.
what you sharing is like an Amazon review for life for people. So they need to hear and see that there's someone like them that's going through the same thing. Like, somebody will always resonate with your story. So to get past that whole success guilt, um, one of the things you could do is like get clarity on what success means to you, because like what it is to your definition of it is different from everyone else's. And if you're focused in moving for yourself and not moving to be seen,
Mm-hmm.
then you have a clearer route, and it will make you feel more secure in your moves. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Um, Also, ask yourself if you consider yourself successful by that definition. Like, once you get clarity on this is what this means to me, then like see if you if you match up to it. Like, it's hot in here. The opinion of yourself is the only one that matters. Again, like, you get just fine. What movie was that? I can't remember. But anyway, somebody was writing, was wanted to become a writer, and they were getting help with it from a more successful writer. And it's like, you seems like you're writing for an audience as opposed to writing for yourself. Like, what is the story you want to tell? Stop thinking about what everybody else is going to think about this, because you'll never finish. You'll never be happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and ask, why do you want to be successful? Like, why is it to impress somebody else? Is it solely for you? Because
Is it for the rewards
for the
and the
reward of
benefits?
it. So, like, is what you're doing worth pursuing to you, or you're just doing it because you think that's what you're supposed to do? And explore the feelings of guilt that you're experiencing. Like, where did this come from? Why do I feel this way? What there's always a bottom line, or a basis, a core to
Mm-hmm.
everything. So it's
Does
like,
it have anywhere like who do you want to acknowledge your success? Because I think that is important too. Because like for me, I want my core to know my wins. Everyone outside of that on the exterior, it's great if you do, but if you don't, it's okay. Like, things that I've created and stuff like that. Like
you
my
want
core,
that validation from like a
yeah,
particular
yeah, group of people,
people,
yeah.
or as opposed from like,
Unless I come up with a cure for disease or do something miraculous first, and then somebody else happens to like do it again, and then they get the credit for it. I really don't care outside of that those two things, because for me the success comes in 1, the journey, 2, the personal accomplishment, 3, my team and my base knowing it, and then 4, the reward. Like the whether it be the followers, the subscriptions, the Patreons, or the monetary gain.
so
That's what it would come in the form of for me.
speaking of that, like, where do you base your, because I hear like you'll say, oh, if I get this many Patreon subscribers by this date, then it's
Yeah.
it's gravy. Like I'll be good. Where do you get those benchmarks from? Though.
I kind of base it on like a 3 to 6 month growth based on how much work I put in it.
Mm-hmm.
So like let's say if I was at 700 Patreons right now, let's say in 3 months I want to be at 850, and now I want to implement doing this in efforts to get to that 850. So that gives me also a base of like, all right, what worked, what didn't work, what worked better than most, what would have really seemed like it drove up the membership, so I can know, like, out of the trial and error, what I need to take into the next benchmark.
Mm-hmm.
So those little benchmarks keep me, one, on top of my game, two, at the I want to say the precipice. Is that the right word?
Yes.
The precipice of the learning curve. So when I set that next benchmark, I could take what I learned from this previous one and the previous one and the previous one, all the 2 or the 3 out of 5 things that I tried, and now I can take all of these ones that really drove up the membership, and now I'm gonna set that goal instead of like 150, an additional 150. I'm gonna set it at 500.
Mm-hmm.
So by 4 months from now, I want this to jump by 500, and now I'm going to implement these 9 or 6 different things that I know work to help drive up membership.
Gotcha. Because I sometimes, when I hear you say it, I'm like, is he just like calling off numbers, or is this in writing, or is this like all?
I always
in
try
your
to
head?
base
Do
it
you
on
have
like, all right, if I do this and I get this number up to this, then I won't have to do this anymore. So if I can eliminate an extra step or extra job and just do this better, and now I free up time to do this, then that's a win for me. So that's why I like, all right, if I get 150 more, then I won't have to do this activity anymore, and then I get my Tuesdays back or my Wednesdays back.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Is
always
that
thinking
where the decision with Zooming came from?
the decision with Zooming kind of came from that, but not entirely. It really came down to scheduling and just health and time.
Yeah.
And also the fact that, the world was opening back up, so people weren't going to be as available. Scheduling had become somewhat not just difficult, but also a chore. And even though like things on the other end was good, like the views did go down, but I was still getting ads. So like it was starting to pay for itself, but at the same time it was like it was once something becomes a chore or my heart's not in it, sometimes I need to step away from it, because once your heart's not in it, it just becomes routine. You're just doing it. You might not do it to the best of your ability because you don't love it.
Right.
If ever comedy felt like, let me go up here and just do this again, it's time for me to either walk away or take a break. Because that means I don't care if the audience didn't like it. I don't care if they enjoyed it. I don't care if they feel like they got their money's worth, depending on, and me not knowing how they got their money. They might be really working like 48, 50 hours a week at a job that they hate, and they took money from that paycheck that they worked hard for to come to my show. And I feel like you have an obligation to make sure, to the best of your ability, within your ability, that people enjoy themselves if they're spending their money with you.
Yes. That's great. Look at you caring about people and whatnot.
I be caring about these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all hear that?
I fucking love you assholes, man. You motherfuckers really be rocking with me, and I appreciate that shit.
Yeah, y'all do. Yes,
Appreciate
y'all
the
do.
fuck out of y'all, man. I love the shit out of y'all.
Rare. The passion. Y'all hear it?
Shout out to Tony Baker, old ass, because his son is our producer today. We were in the group chat texting today, going back and forth, and I was driving, so I was sending voice memos. And after like my third one, Tony Baker was like, enough with the voice memos to hear. Just text like everybody else. I was like, I'm driving with your old ass. You're just a curmudgeon. He be yelling at his kids like, y'all don't text me back and all of that. Nah, nobody want to talk to your angry ass. You just gonna tell him that they ain't eating and drinking enough
stop
water?
Laughing. You green, you in, man.
Nah, man, fuck that, man. I love Tony, but shut up sometimes, man. You just mad at the world except for them cats. The cats is why your carpet dirty, Tony Baker.
Wait, I just read his post when he said that sometimes he just sit in the car when he gets home, and he said, yeah, he do like be dreading the seeing Dapper at midnight sometimes. Yeah. So he just
you treat them like real kids.
People be like, what you hiding from at home? The cats.
Yeah. cats be getting on this last nerve. Dapper just jump. He just jump on the. Is it Dapper or Midnight that
I
just
think
jumps
it's
on
Midnight
that jumps on the
keeps
counter?
jumping on the counter.
He don't respect Tony Baker at all. Tony Baker is 6'4", 6'5", big as hell,
Tony
big
is
hand.
not that big.
How tall is your daddy? 6'2". All right, Tony is 6'2". I was
He made him Shaq size.
I was drastically wrong, guys. I made him a mega giant, and he's just a regular giant.
Tony is the same height as Shaq.
He
No, he is not.
Tony is tall as Yao Ming. If Yao Ming had Yao Ming standing on his shoulders.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, I've been told that.
Okay, and another thing, which I really like this note about just wiping out, because if you're doing good, you fucking doing good.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't have to hide it.
Yeah.
And but I totally understand feeling like you should, or just being uneasy about sharing your success, especially when it comes to dealing with people from your inner circle who aren't on the same playing field. But it's like, you doing good. You should be celebrated. And so I like this note because it says, realize that deserve has nothing to do with it. Like, you worked for this. So it's not an entitlement thing you dealing with. You are celebrating something that you worked hard for.
Absolutely.
And so you deserve to be happy about that. Like, that's what you deserve to be. So
you absolutely do. I think the actions of you doing what makes you happy doesn't always have to be publicized. That's all. I think everything can be accepted for the most part in moderation. So like, this weekend, y'all didn't see it, but I bought 6 pairs of shoes. Farron got one of them, so I bought 5 pairs of shoes. All right. Josh posted the picture, I reposted it, but I didn't. It's more extravagant when you pull the shoes out the box and licking the bottom and all. I ain't doing all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because one, like I said, like depending on where you're from, you can make yourself a target. And then also too, it's just like everybody still hasn't bounced back yet.
Yeah.
Now I am treating myself for all the things I missed out on being a teen dad, and then. After finding out I wasn't dad, going to college and being a broke college student. And then after that, moving out to LA and just surviving. Like, not living. There were months when I was in LA and I was surviving. And I mean that in the sense of I had enough money to pay rent, I had enough money to pay my car note and insurance and other utilities and phone bill, and I might have had a little something to do something extra with, but not a lot. So for all of that time that I missed out on from my teenage years until 2 years ago, really, I'm making up for lost time. Yeah. I am buying all of those shoes I saw in East Bay, all of those shoes I saw online, all the Jordans that I missed out on because I couldn't afford. I am making up for that, and I don't feel guilty about it. I ain't throwing it in nobody's face, but if I want something and I can find it and I can afford it, I'm going to get it.
Yep.
There were times when I wanted shoes and I had to show Farron, I'm like, yo, if I do this, I think I can get these. And she'd be like, okay. And I knew that, okay, man, if it didn't work out, that okay was, I told you so. That's what it translated to. But we don't have to have those same conversations anymore because we're at a different level because the work has paid off. It's starting to pay off. So my career has really been like a stock investment. I invested early. I waited. I was patient. When the chips went down, I didn't cash out. I stood in there for the long haul, and now I'm just now starting to see the benefit of that. And I'm not going to shy away from the wins, but I'm also just not going to put it in everybody's face because some people are waiting to come into their season.
So if nothing else from this list of what to do about your success guilt, like, be yourself, true to you, reject the conformity. It is okay for you to step aside and step apart from what everyone else is doing, and in order to become successful. And it is okay for you to celebrate yourself and share your story and walk in that. To be persistent. Like, don't let defeat or anything else, like he said, it got rough and he stuck in there and saw it through to the end. So the persistence, it's got the long game.
All right. Well, there we go.
Oh, okay.
They just landed, so we might
Right.
just get on the
I would
plane.
say, right. And I'm sitting here rushing for them. But be confident. We always hear confident is key. So walk in it is yours. You worked hard for it. Or you have a plan that you're working towards. Walk in it, head held high, own it. And I like this one. Be humorous. Like we laugh when we should be crying. So always like don't take yourself too seriously. Things fall apart. They will something crazy, something not great will
Always bound to happen.
always happen.
And it's never going to be scheduled.
Exactly. So like just find the lesson and the funny and keep it moving. Pivot and keep marching forward. And yeah, just like keep your mind above your perceived limitations. Like don't get so trapped in the pack mentality of what other people are doing.
Oh, you can't do that at all.
Operating, worried about, oh, I can't do this because this person is doing this. Well, guess what? You're gonna do it different. So keep moving ahead. But
and just know that your favorite artists, podcasters, actors, comedians have all had those thoughts. I did not want to do the side-by-side videos because Kev was doing it before I started doing it. And I was like, I don't want to be by your side. He's like, I didn't create that. I just mastered it for me. Other people do it better than me. They get more views than me. All of that. He told me that, and I was like, yeah, you're right. And then one of my homeboys is like, I want to do side-by-sides, but you already do. I'm like, nigga, that ain't mine. I don't have the rights to that. I was able to tell the next person the exact same thing. So don't be afraid of trying an idea that is not original. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying steal content at all. I'm just saying like a format, the side by side. None of us are newscasters was doing that for years. If we want to be all the way honest, like nobody owns that format. Do that. Don't be afraid to do that. But most of all, don't be afraid to fail. Yeah. Because every idea is not going to be a golden egg. You're going to have some goose eggs in there. I guarantee you're going to do that. Yeah. And you just got to learn how to take that L and turn it into a lesson. Because even with anything that you do, you can learn something from it on how to do it better.
Yep.
So don't be afraid to try it, man. Like, and stop waiting for the perfect opportunity because there would never be that.
Right.
Ever. You're like, if I just save, $500 more and I can invest. No. Stop waiting to do your fucking podcast. You got a camera? Okay, do your podcast. Well, I wanted to get this camera. You got an iPhone? Yeah. Well, do it on the iPhone.
Yep.
You don't have to wait to get the perfect camera. Pat and I shoot Damn Internet You Scary on 2 iPhones.
Right.
One for YouTube, for our Patreon, they get it early, and then the other one for everyone else that watches it. There's no excuse. If you have an iPhone or you have means to get an iPhone, you can just shoot about just about anything you want to. And you ain't even got to have all the money. You could do a pay-as-you-go type thing. You can sign a 2-year agreement and get the phone that day. So don't be a master of excuses. Just do it.
And don't be so caught up in what are people going to think? And it's easier said than done. Like, don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. Don't be scared, blah, blah, blah. But challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. And I like that you brought up like the whole side-by-side video thing, because when I was talking to a friend of mine about how much I like true crime, and I was like, man, I would love to do something with that. I was like, but there's already so many other people doing it. And I was like, wait, stop. You sound stupid. So what? It's so many other people doing it. Your voice is different.
Right.
And I actually I love bringing up Melissa because I just love her. But I was like, it's a million different dating shows and all this stuff. I was like, and this woman still jumped out there and created her own.
Yeah.
And that's so fucking dope. So she was like, I don't care that this is something that exists. I'm doing it different.
Yeah.
This is my voice. This is the way I see it, the way I envision it, and I'm still gonna walk in that. So I just own it. Don't let your fear of failure or embarrassment hinder you. Slow you down. Move forward. with whatever your plan is. I encourage you, friends. Yes, yes, yes. So, but yeah, that's all. I just felt like having an encouraging day today.
Hey.
So, so that is pretty much all we have.
I
So
encourage
just
you,
go
fellas.
out there.
Fellas, go whack it with the door open and listen to some porn on full volume. I want to
I
encourage you
should
to
have
live
ended
life.
it faster.
I
I'm
want-
sorry, friends.
Just whack it with that door open.
I
one
said I'm
leg,
moving a little
one leg
slow
on the
today.
toilet, in a power stance. Just whack it.
Well, in that same vein, ladies, grab your mirrors,
Go to town.
lay back, fap to your heart's content,
Cast your porn to the TV.
and turn the volume up
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah, and somebody hollers up there. What you doing up there? You know what the fuck you hearing.
Connected to the Bluetooth
Right.
speakers.
You hear that? You know what's going on. I'm enjoying myself. I had a long day. I sat in traffic, and I didn't kill nobody.
yes.
Let me celebrate this win.
Right. Do you want me to kill you? Then let me rub this out.
Let me rub it out.
You're an idiot.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
So thank y'all. Go, oh yes, and share your experiences with these feelings, or even your Amazon review for life for somebody. Give us your testimony of how you push past these feelings and walk in your truth. Either in the comments or email us at moretothestorypodcast@gmail.com. And this has been another episode of More to the Story. Thanks for joining us, friends.
See you next week.
Bye.
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 Go with grace.
Bye.
I want to. I got the last word.
No, you didn't.
I got the last word.
Keep it running.
This is the last word.
Stop. Right
All
when I'm.
all right, so you can stop it right. So you can stop it right here.